Hey everybody, this is Joshua, the tendonitis expert. In this video, we're going to talk about why haven't you fixed your tennis elbow yet? You've probably hurt for quite a while. Probably you've seen various professionals like doctors and physical therapists, maybe massage therapists and acupuncturists, but you still have tennis elbow. Your elbow and or forearm still hurts. So why haven't you fixed it yet? The simple answer is because the people you've been talking to haven't told you the right things. They haven't given you the right prescriptions. They haven't performed the right therapies. And the proof is in the pudding. You still hurt. And the reality is, good news, bad news, you just have to keep trying things until you find something that does work. So chances are you've tried plenty that doesn't work. So let's talk about tennis elbow a little bit. To understand why you still hurt, you kind of need to know why you hurt in the first place. So here is your forearm. That's a view of the back of your hand. These are your extensor muscles, meaning they extend the hand. And essentially, if you have tennis elbow, then you should have pain at least right here. You might have pain here also. You might have pain higher up the arm. But for the most part, to get the tennis elbow diagnosis, you have to hurt in here. You have to have pain on these tendons. You might have pain elsewhere, but tennis elbow is hurting here on the back of the hand, the side of the arm, whereas if it hurt on the palm side of the arm, that's golfer's elbow. So let's get through that. So you have muscles. All these muscles are wrapped in connective tissue. And these muscles are wrapped in connective tissue. And these muscles are wrapped in connective tissue. And then you have connective tissue across all of those. And then you have skin. So point being, there's various layers of connective tissue. You have millions and millions of muscle fibers. Each one of those is wrapped in connective tissue. Then bundles of those are wrapped in connective tissue, and bundles of those are wrapped in connective tissue, and then the whole thing's wrapped in connective tissue, and then that's wrapped in connective tissue. And then you have probably another layer, and then you have skin. There's just a bunch of connective tissue. So while we're looking at this picture, you just see muscles, but it's important to know there's also connective tissue. Think of it as saran wrap, tightly wrapped around your muscles. So you hurt somewhere in here. Your doctor gives you a diagnosis of tennis elbow, or you diagnose yourself. The good news is it doesn't really matter what the diagnosis is. If you hurt here and you don't have a broken arm or anything, then you have a tennis elbow, or then I should say you have a tendonitis dynamic. Meaning there's a dynamic, multiple factors at play, and they are causing your pain and other symptoms. Tennis elbow is the same thing as wrist tendonitis, is the same thing as Achilles tendonitis. It's the same dynamic. And that dynamic is made up of multiple factors. Primarily, and what we're going to talk about is three factors: tightness, inflammation, probably spelling it wrong, and nutritional insufficiency. So, if you have tennis elbow and or tendonitis, regardless of what you want to call it, elbow tendonitis, then what you really have is multiple factors at play causing pain and problem. And the primary factors are tightness, inflammation, and nutritional insufficiency. The reason you haven't fixed your tennis elbow yet is because your doctor has given you anti-inflammatories, and they don't get rid of the cause of inflammation. And they put you in splints and braces probably, and immobilization just makes things worse. And if you go to the PT, you're going to get stretching and strengthening, but stretching, it's just not targeted. So when you move, like if you go to yoga, bend over, touch the floor, everything that's mobile moves, and everything that's not mobile doesn't. You need to target the things that aren't moving. And when you go to PT and do stretching, they're not targeting what needs to be targeted. And strengthening is a whole other topic, and that you're not weak, you are dysfunctional, meaning you lack functionality, which means you can't produce strength, which is kind of a different thing. Point being, you're not the kind of weak where you can lift some weights and get better. It's not that kind of weakness. The problem here is that your muscles aren't functioning, so they can't produce work, and making them lift weights isn't going to fix that. So in a nutshell, essentially that's why you haven't fixed yourself, because you haven't done the right things. Now, I don't mean that in a judgmental way, and I don't mean that in a blaming way, because we just do the best we can until we find what works. So you've done what you've done, you still have pain. The reason you still have pain is because you did not get rid of the tightness, you did not get rid of the inflammation, and you did not correct the nutritional insufficiency. Until you do enough of each of these things, then you will still have pain and problem. You might do a lot of one thing that'll help for a while, but pain is going to come back because let's just say you get a bunch of massage and you get rid of the tightness, let's just say. You're still going to have inflammation and you're still going to have nutritional insufficiency, and those two are going to work together to cause more tightness. So that's why you can get some work of some kind, you feel better for a while, and pain comes back, is because all three factors are working together. You have to get rid of all three factors. And until you do, you're going to continue to have pain, and or the pain is just going to come back. I guess I should also say you have to do enough of the right things. You have to do enough of the things to get rid of the tightness so that the tightness goes away. You have to do enough of the right things to get inflammation to go away, and you have to do enough of the right things to get enough nutrition into your body. If you just do some, like if you ice pack once or twice for 20 minutes, then you shouldn't be disappointed if you still hurt, because doing ice packs a couple times for 20 minutes a pop, it's just not going to do the job. It can't. It's just not enough. So a lot of people do a certain amount of work and then they give up because they didn't get the results. But in all fairness, they didn't do enough. And they didn't have a chance of doing enough and getting enough results. So if you're going to get rid of your tennis elbow, you have to do enough of the right things. You have to get rid of the tightness, get rid of the inflammation, and get rid of the nutritional insufficiency. So basically we've just answered all this right here. So why haven't you fixed it yet? Because you haven't done the right things and you haven't done enough of the right things. And this will be our little recap for what is tennis elbow. Tennis elbow is elbow tendonitis, and tendonitis is tightness, inflammation, and nutritional insufficiency. If you want to get rid of tennis elbow, then you have to do the right things and enough of the right things to get rid of tightness, get rid of the inflammation and the triggers of inflammation, and correct the nutritional insufficiency. Now you notice I repeated myself quite a bit here, and that's because I want to get the point across. So I'll say it again. There's three factors that are causing your pain. You have to do enough of the right things to get rid of them. If you don't get rid of them, the pain won't go away, and or it won't go away for very long. So if you'd like to find out more about tennis elbow, then go ahead and visit my website and find the appropriate page. And if you'd like to get rid of your tennis elbow, then I recommend you get my Tennis Elbow Treatment That Works program. It's a DVD and ebook, and you'll find out more about that on the site. But it contains everything you need to know to get rid of your pain and get rid of your pain quickly.